For more on this, we're now joined by Zamani Dladla, Public Servants Association of South Africa's SITA Chief Negotiator, to give us more of an insight in terms of the strike action we are seeing. Zamani, thank you so much for joining us here on the late edition on SABC News. Let's start off here. The employer has offered you a 5% increase. Why are you rejecting this offer?
The offer of 5% is below inflation because when we initially submitted our demands as at February 2023 with an intention that the employer would have implemented by April, it was 12%. And because we had to negotiate with the employer, we managed to come down from 12 to 9% and up to 7.5%. And the employer has not upped its offer. They only upped it from 4.5% on Monday to 5%, and they stated that it's a final offer. The employees cannot afford the basic necessities that they need to. And it's not only the issue of salary increment. There were other demands as well, which are non-monetary, which the employer has not met. So the employees have given us a clear mandate that they are not going to take anything less than 7.5% or closer to 7.5%. That is why the members are on strike, and it's a full-blown strike.
Are you willing to meet the employer at least halfway? I mean, they've tried to move from their demands. I understand that they've at least moved 3 times now and coming to a 5% salary increase. You've moved from your initial 12% and you're sitting on 7.5%. Are you willing to meet each other halfway?
Well, in the process of negotiations, it's a give and take. We are willing to engage the employer further and provide other alternatives that will end the impasse. However, the employer must understand that it should be at least closer to inflation-based, because you will appreciate the fact that petrol has been increasing month after month, and these employees are using cars to come home. And the other demand, which was the increase of the data allowance that the employees are using, the employer is also refusing to increase that from 500 to 700 rand, and then that gives employees difficulty to carry out their duties as well.
Why is it so important for you as the PSA to see an increase, for your members? I mean, you detail, the inflation the country is undergoing, as well as the issue of an increase in petrol prices. But why is it so important that, at least you get a 7.5% increase?
That issue of affordability, the members are not able to meet the demands that comes with the high prices that are going up. You have seen, and you will appreciate that even the eggs have just gone up, potatoes have gone up, every basic food items that these employees are expected to buy have gone up. The other public servants that these SITA employees are serving were given the 7.5%. So what's an issue with SITA, which has already made a profit of about 6 billion in the past financial year, to share the profits with the employees, And
what has been the attitude of the employer in terms of these negotiations? Like I said earlier, you had said that you had moved from the 12% to now a 7.5%. Are they willing, to hear you out when you say you want an inflation-based increase?
Attitude of the employer has been that of arrogance, because initially they presented an offer of 2%, while we knew that the board had given them 3.5%. And when we threatened them with the strike action or to declare a dispute initially, the employer then jumped to 3.5% and then to 4.5%. We were also moving down. As they were moving up, we were also moving down. That's why we are at 7.5% now. But we said to the employer, we are willing to renegotiate and see where we can meet each other in order to break the impasse that is happening, because we fully understand the implications of this strike. Home Affairs is affected already. SASSA is affected. The poorest of the poor are unable to access the services as before because employees are on total shutdown.
And if the employer won't move beyond 5%, I mean, what next for the Public Service Association? I mean, this may even result in job losses if, you don't come to some sort of an agreement here with the employer.
In the last meeting that we had with the employer on Monday, the employer offered this 5%, and after the meeting, when we rejected the 5%, an email was sent to us that they have an intention to implement this unilaterally, which made the employees more angry. Some of the employees that were not part of the strike even started to join the strike when they heard that the employer is going to implement this 5% unilaterally. We need to meet halfway with the employer. The employer must at least move up closer to the 7.5% that we are demanding, or devise other means.
And what happens now if, some of your employees, because there is the no work, no pay policy, and once the employer decides, to implement that, surely this will have even more serious ramifications for your members.
Employees are so resolute. As I said to you, our strike action commenced with picketing as far back as the 9th of this month. Up for the whole week, employees were out there picketing on their lunch hour. And from Monday morning, when we were sitting with the employer, all the employees were out in all provinces on a total shutdown, and as well as today. Tomorrow, they will also be out of the gate. The employees are conscious of the fact that they will, in terms of the Labor Relations Act, lose out on a no work, no pay principle. But it's a price to pay for them to gain part of the profits that they have made themselves. Furthermore, the employer has called a special bargaining forum meeting, which will sit at 10:30 tomorrow. So we will present our other options to the employer to see how we can break this impasse, because we also understand we don't want our people to suffer, but the employees must also be treated well, because a productive workforce should be a well-paid workforce.
Zamani, thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for speaking to us here on the Late Edition. That is Zamani Dladla. He is the Chief Negotiator for the Public Servants Association of South Africa in SITA.